this off for a second here. My name is Jason, and I'm here for a Daily Dose of Hope, day 260. So I've been coming on for almost about 260 days consecutively to give a daily dose of hope. And you may ask yourself what a daily dose of hope is, and it is just that. It is a daily dose of hope to help you to get into the middle path. So hello, nice to meet you and nice to see you again. Um, a daily dose of hope is something I was guided to do about around February of last year, just to bring some hope. And so what I'd like to do today is, so first we do a little bit of a talk, and then we go into a channeling, and then we go into a pocket of peace. So what I'd like to talk about today is something that I think it was Yeshua was talking about yesterday or the day before about since the world is kind of waking up again, in the sense that after the 3 years of craziness, some of the a lot of people are starting to slowly kind of move back into a normal routine and everything like that. And but what he was talking about was just that, remember that when you choose this world, you choose sadness, you choose it will lead to pain. And so that was something that really hit me directly. It's funny, it feels like these things are must just be my internet connection. Hopefully it's working. If you guys could just like chat to tell me that it's working or not. I can't tell if I'm freezing or not. So yeah, I guess if I don't get any chats, I'll just figure I'm frozen. But what I wanted to talk about was the idea of choosing this world. So choosing this world and bogging yourself down, creating your own problems by taking on too much, and then creating stress, right? And then trying to medicate that stress. So that this kind of idea, which is basically the human condition, right? Um, and so I was thinking, so recently, like I've been getting all these different offers to perform, to do music and stuff, and I'm happy to do music. I do enjoy playing music, especially I love playing music with people. It just really brings me joy to play music with people. But I am a perfectionist when it comes to performing, and I have to. Oh, great, thanks, Patty. All right, so it's working. But I'm a perfectionist, so it really takes it's a lot of stress, and it takes a lot out of me, like preparing for something. Um, and um, but there's other things that at this moment are much more important to me. And in the 3 years of craziness, I was able to focus more on them because no one was asking me. No one. Weren't any concerts. Well, there were. I was doing some concerts, but not many people. Everyone was afraid of um, the the boogeyman that didn't exist. Um, but yeah, so but now I'm being given these choices, and I'm a bit torn in the sense that I do enjoy performing, but at the same time I'm realizing when I do perform that I'm realizing why I was pulling myself away from it in the first place. That it wasn't in the first place. I was never really a performer. I'm more of a backstage guy. I write the music, and then I give them people to perform it. I'm not really like in front of, well, I don't really consider myself a natural performer. Some people just love it. They eat it up and they're just like, yes, give me more. And I'm just like, well, I don't want to be in front of people. Why? And you may think, why am I doing this now? Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think maybe it's some sort of something's wrong with me. No, I do, but I do enjoy sharing these messages, and that's the thing. And with the music as well, I enjoy sharing the music as well. But I find it very painful because I'm actually very shy. So it's really painful to do things in front of people. But yeah. So, but I was pulling away from the music, but recently I'm being called back into it, But so the message from Yeshua was just, to not get bogged down on this in these things, and what that all boils down to. Sorry, I have a point here, but what that boils down to is the idea of having loving boundaries, of being able to have a boundary and to be able to defend that boundary. So during the years of craziness, it was easy for me to say no to everything, and then everyone would be like, "Oh, you must be afraid of the boogeyman." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what it is. Sure, whatever." But now, like, it's harder to make excuses, because the you know the scary thing that everyone was afraid of is not really there anymore. So um but so it's harder to say no, I guess, in that sense. But now is the time, though, when we are called on to choose love. We're called on to choose our heart, and to not to choose the thing that seems like the right thing to do, but to choose the thing that our heart is calling out for. And so, and I know for me in my personal life, that's becoming a more and more difficult thing to do, now that everything's kind of opening up. And it's, this opening up thing that's happening at this moment is kind of an illusion in that sense as well. um, because things are about to shift in a very different way. Um, but so I wanted to talk about that, and then I wanted to talk about TT Tracy said the boogeymen are slinking off to their corners. Yeah, waiting for their next chance. So, um, but during the 3 years of craziness, one thing that really hit me was that how far apart I was, how distant I was from the people that I thought were my kind of peers or my friends or my people, And I was thinking, I knew I was sensing something, sensing like something was drifting apart for a while before that. And I didn't know what it was. I couldn't put my finger on it. And it was just like, I don't know what it is. I guess it's just, I'm just kind of going somewhere in my mind. I don't know what was happening. And then when the 3 years of craziness happened, it was just like, oh, that's what it was. We're just in different worlds. It's just a different dimension. And they were drifting into that dimension. And then when the 3 years of craziness came, it just put everything in very, very, I wish I had that word that I could use right now because it would have, but in contrast. It put everything in a very, very clear contrast. It was like you could really see where everyone was standing, what dimension they were in. And it was just beautiful in that sense because then, you can't really be like, what's happening? Just like, oh, that's happening. They're in a different world. I'm here. They're over there. And so, but what I'm finding still is that still, even in this time, I guess for me, the further you go along in this dimension that you're in, the further away you drift from things. It's not like, they're kind of catching up. It's just like you keep further, I'm going further and further, and it's like I'm a completely different world. And in a sense, it's kind of like sad to see, because I, grew up in, I grew up, well, back in the 80s and 90s, and in the 90s, like, especially the 90s was like such a, I didn't even realize at the time, but it was such a utopian kind of time. Everyone was just free and open, and everyone was, you could just talk about anything with anyone, and no one would just freak out or, get crazy about it. They were just like, oh, that's your thing and this is my thing, whatever. But, the times that we're in are so polarized, and everyone's so, I can't talk about half of this stuff with pretty much 98% of the people that I run into on a daily basis. And so I guess what I wanted to say is that still it feels you still feel kind of isolated in that sense, And I guess that's part of this kind of, what Dolores Cannon would talk about was that the splitting of the earth in the sense. And I've heard it said that, maybe not necessarily the earth itself would split, but the earth will be just a place of many different dimensions, but you'll drift away into the place where there are more people like you that have the same feelings as you do, that are in the same world, So yeah. TD Tracy, I've wondered why some of us just looked at the situation, saw what it was, others were clueless. Yeah, well, I have too, and I've talked with friends about that, and I really think it's just guidance. We were just guided. That's the only way, that we had probably been through the situation before in another life, and we're not. We know. Like, I know this. I've seen this before. Come on, right? And I think that's what it was. So we weren't meant to. We were meant to know what it was, and because yeah, I remember, like, in my, like, the people around me, I remember just, it was like, every once in a while I would meet someone who was on the same page, and they were like lifeboats. It's like, oh, you're floating too, yeah, you're, oh, okay. And it's just like, wow, how did we do this? I don't know. And we just felt, you just feel like you're like the loneliest people on the planet, because it's just like, no. But then you start seeing other people. I'm like, oh, you're here too. Oh, okay. And strange times, historic times we're living in. I don't think these are not normal times in that sense. These are very, very historic, very, very important times. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. But that sense of isolation, I think, it just reminded me. A few days ago, I was talking with someone, and they opened up. So they were. Divide seems to be getting wider. Definitely guidance for me. Rumble has frozen. Oh. Let's see. Oh no. I wonder if everything's frozen. Okay, it looks like YouTube is still on, but Rumble's frozen. What's up with that? Weird. Um I don't know. I'm gonna keep going on, and hopefully, if it doesn't work on Rumble, I'll just kind of import it over. Um let's see. Hi, Patty. You said definitely guidance for me. Yeah, yeah. So I think, um, yeah. What I wanted to say about that then is that, oh yeah. So I was talking with a friend, and well, um, this person that I met, um, and when I first met him, he seemed very, he was very much in, like, during those 3 years of craziness, he was very much into the craziness, into the boogeyman. He believed everything. And then, and I would just every once in a while kind of bring up different topics just to see if, like, it would, he would. And then something happened, and I just find that now we're just talking about all this stuff, and and he's seeing all of these things, and he's clearing spaces and doing all this kind of stuff. And I asked him, I was like, hey, when did this happen? When did we start talking like this? This is kind of strange, because before, I remember when I first met you, I was like, oh, make sure not to talk about any of this stuff with him, because it looks like he get really angry if I talk about any of this stuff. And now we're just kind of like, yeah, I saw this thing over there, and yeah, I was talking to it, and what did it look like? Oh, it's this huge spider being. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's the conversation now. But before that, and so it just happened for him. Something shifted, like, in the past year, and he just started kind of. So it's a good sign, I guess, for the future, I hope. Yeah. So, okay, Michael. So yeah, YouTube is still on, but Rumble seems to be frozen. Just unfortunate. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, and I thought that was something pretty interesting. Um, so then, what I'd like to do is then just go into a channeling, and maybe ask about this great divide that we're all in, at this moment, where just, oh, that was, and with this person that I was talking with as well, like, I was saying that, I'm doing, these kind of public things, and he was like, I would never do that. Oh my God, it's dangerous to do that, in Japan, you don't do that. He's Japanese, so, but yeah, in Japan, it's not dangerous to do that, but I think he's still kind of on the fence about that. He just doesn't want people to call him, like, crazy person. But you just, oh well. That's the whole point that's happening now, is that you have to kind of put your, step out a bit and say, this is what I'm doing. But I guess everyone's got their own path and everyone has their own time. But yeah, um, that's what I wanted to talk about. But still, so there's still that. And even though, yeah, even here, like I'm on YouTube and there's certain words that I can't use, certain things I can't say. And what a crazy world. Like, who would have thought that that would be, this American company that is censoring people? And I probably can't even use the word censoring, but it's like, how crazy is that? No one no one in a million years would have believed that. Like 3, 4 years ago, you say, yeah, they're doing that. I mean, actually, that's 3, 4 years ago. That's when I started. I started realizing it in 2016, but yeah, it was like when I remember talking to people about that all of these social media, they're doing it. They're like, no, that would never happen, not in a million years. And now everyone's just like, we got to be careful what we say. I imagine people in China are just laughing like, yeah, they thought they had such free. But anyway. So I'm gonna go into a channeling. I hope I'm not frozen, but I'm gonna put my record. I'm gonna record it. So if it doesn't work, I'll just do a transcript and read it tomorrow. Um, yeah, I don't know, but hopefully I'm. But anyway, could you guys just comment just to see? I'm not sure if it's on or not. I think there's a time lag as well. So, and I can't check it for some reason. Let's see. I'm gonna check here. Oh, hopefully but anyway, could you guys never mind. Never mind. I checked it. Okay, I'm on. Okay. So I'm gonna go into a channeling and I'll just record it here just in case. Um, and I'm gonna ask about this great divide that we're all experiencing, with friends and family members, coworkers. I find myself in situations where, I find myself in many situations where I understand where everyone is coming from, and I understand that if I were to bring up all of these things, it would bring up, you know, cognitive dissonance, and that's not what I'm about. If someone's ready, but I'm not gonna, you know that's not my thing. And so just there's a lot of conversations where I'm like, oh, I can't really say how I really feel in this situation. I mean, I can give hints, but if I do start saying about how where I really stand on this, they would just cognitive dissonance, they'd get angry, they'd freak out, and just better to just kind of like just okay, yeah, that's interesting that you think that way, kind of thing. And well, because the place that I'm at the moment, and I think a lot of you that are listening are at, is very different. We're in a really different dimension, and it's just there's no real like translating device that you can use. Just there would be no connection. They wouldn't get it. It wouldn't make any sense. It would just be like, and they sometimes I imagine that they might not even hear you, you know. Like you'd be talking and they would say, "What, is someone speaking? I can't," like that's the dimensional divide that I feel sometimes. So it's just, like your guides will feel towards you. Like, your guides are like, "Hey, do this. Hey, don't do that. Do this. You should try this." And you're just like blissfully unaware. And the guides, why doesn't he listen to me? So Michael, he say, do you know people that got sick? My flatmates got it and was pretty sad to see. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do know people that got sick. Yeah. Um, yeah, I do know people that got sick, and some people that passed as well. But yeah, and that's another thing too, that is in that sense, like I have a friend, some of the friends that we were kind of floating on the lifeboats, they were kind of just like adamant and fighting and do this, you shouldn't do that, but I, at the time it was just like I realized all this stuff at this moment for a reason, and but they didn't realize also for a reason as well. Like there's a reason for all of us and all of these different things, and sometimes we have to have certain experiences in order to learn certain things, right, in life. And understanding that this isn't our only life. We have many lives, right? we were, and so when this ends, it's not like the end of everything. We're eternal. We have all these different experiences, and so maybe it was time for them to have this experience. Maybe we had that experience, in another life, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And we're like, "What?" So that's how it works, right? That's what we're doing here, different dimensions. And yeah, Patty, you say invisible sometimes. Yeah, yeah. Invisible most of the time. TT Tracy says, my warning is that if they bring up climate change, I know that. Yeah. So yeah, so that's what I mean. So the whole, we're all in different worlds. We're kind of floating around, but we all have to kind of, guess the idea is just to understand that that's multidimensionality, and it sometimes isn't pretty, but it is what it is. It is where we're at, and that's what that 3 years of craziness was to show us. Like, hey guys, you're multidimensional now. You're in different dimensions. And I still find it sometimes, seeing, like, I didn't, like, kind of disassociate myself from all these different people. So now for me, it's just really interesting to see, like, oh, in that dimension, this is what's happening. And that's what I'm always talking about these stories. They're just stories playing out. There's no need to get emotionally attached to it. Understand what it is. Understand that we are not bodies, and that the people that might be suffering at this moment, that this suffering will not be eternal, and that it is there for them to learn something. And we probably went through the exact same thing in another life. Just to understand all of that, and to take that higher dimensional perspective, so that we understand, and we can walk that neutral point and understand where everyone's coming from. They're coming from different places, and maybe this is guide practice for us. Maybe we're practicing to be guides. Like, we can just be non-judgmental, and try to just understand, and try to just gently nudge, and try to be understanding. And maybe that's what this is about. Maybe this is the beginning of guide training, and it's very stressful, very and now we can understand what our guides feel like, when we don't listen to them. you when the guides go to their, like, the guide bar, and they're all, like, sitting around, like, oh my god, the person, they just don't listen to a word I'm saying. Oh yeah, I know what you mean, mine too. So but anyway, yeah, it's cool. Actually, I'm glad that we had this kind of conversation, conversation, like a monologue-ish conversation. But you guys, yeah, I'm glad. It's really interesting to hear. I never really talked much about this. So yeah, so let's ask about the Great Divide. What is the Great Divide, and where are we going with this Great Divide? So, and I'll record it here just in case if I get cut off. So here we go. All right, so what is the Great Divide? Greetings, we are that one that you know is Yeshua, and we're here, and we're here, and we're here. And we laugh, because all of you take this so seriously. All of you are so serious about all of these things that are happening, and we love that about you. We think that is so beautiful about you. But we want you to understand that, yes, you are not of this place. You are of love. And all of these things that are happening are not really happening the way that you think they're happening. All of the things that are happening around you, while you may judge them as good or judge them as bad, but all of them are happening for a very, very special reason. They're all happening for you, for all of you to have this experience, to help you to go through this ascension. Now, all of you are on different places. You are all in different places, but you're all down here at this moment, which means that you are all chosen for this time. You are all chosen for this time. So understanding that is a very important thing. understanding your brothers and sisters that are around you that might be feeling differently than you, understanding that that is very special for them as well, that they are going through their story and they need to go through that story in order to learn things, and also in order to provide a contrast for you as well. So they are working with you in that sense. They're working with you to show you this divide as well, because this divide is giving you training in understanding this whole multidimensional reality that you're in. Without that contrast, without that shade, you would not realize. So they are doing you beautiful work. They are beautiful souls working with you, dancing with you. They're dancing with you. So when you see them dancing off in a different rhythm, love them for doing that for you. They're doing that for you. Such beautiful souls. And this is why we laugh, because you all love each other so much that you are doing all of this for each other. Well, all right, that got kind of emotional. But yeah, definitely. That's a good way of looking at it. We're all kind of dancing together down here, and they're dancing with us, and they love us so much that they're dancing that different rhythm so that we can understand that it's different, that there is a multidimensionality going on. That's really nice. These are tears of joy. So TT Tracy, you say, back at the theme park, it's a small world after all. Yeah, it is. Michael say, Yeshua. So, all right, so good. Okay, so that channeling, it worked. All right. Yeah, so that was good. I like that. That's kind of similar to kind of what I'm feeling about it. That, yeah, rather than getting into these heated debates about all this stuff. I mean, with the people really, like with your, family, what can you do? I mean, depends. It depends on the relationship. But yeah. So, Michael, you say, I love you guys. Yep, love you too. Love you too. Patty, beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful message. Phew, very emotional. Yeah, it just kind of comes over you. You're just like, oh my God, this can't even stop. Yeah, stop the emotion. All right. Yeah, I think there might have been more to that one, but I couldn't. Yeah, it's too much, too emotional. I just, yeah. So I'm gonna go into a Keone, you say, can you take a message from Shiva? So as I've said before, I'm not completely comfortable channeling Shiva at the moment. but when I do, and if I do, I will definitely channel Shiva for you on this. All right. I'm going to a pocket of peace, and this pocket of peace is this is a pocket of peace for all of us in the great divide, that we can see each other and love each other, even though we're so maybe drifting so far apart. And maybe this is a good message for this coming holiday season, where everyone's going to get together, maybe with family members, and maybe you don't get along with them, or maybe you guys are maybe dancing to a different tune. And it's just for all of us just to be okay with it, and to understand that we all share certain things, that we're family, or that we're, there's something, we both love pumpkin pie, whatever it is. So look for the things that you share, and so that's what this is about. This is for all of us, just to get together. We are very different. We're all drifting apart. We're in different worlds, but we're still, we still love each other. We're still made of love, even though we might disagree completely, So let's do that. So this is a pocket of peace, to bring us together, to span the great divide. All right, so I'd like you to imagine that you are in the most relaxed place that you can imagine, maybe maybe this is by the ocean or by a river, or I don't know, floating on a cloud, sitting on a pile of autumn leaves. That's where I am right now. Just walking in some autumn leaves. I'm kicking them around. And I'd like you just to imagine that you're there and take a few deep breaths and breathe in the air wherever it is that you are. And I'd like you to imagine that this mist of unconditional love just comes around you like a gentle wind, and it starts blowing around you, and you start to feel lighter, and you start to feel like everything's gonna be okay, and you start to feel like you're kind of home. You feel like you're more home than you've ever felt before. Yeah. And I'd like you to just kind of imagine that feeling. This unconditional love feeling is a feeling of unconditional love, meaning that you don't have to do anything to get it. It's just for you. And it's what you're made of. And so it is resonating with you, and it is also reminding you that that is what you are. And I'd like you to just feel this unconditional love just spread throughout the space that you're in, throughout all the space that you're in. And then to spread outside, it's extending out into the skyways and the byways and the ocean waves and the river waves, and everywhere. This love is just spreading out in the most gentlest way, but it is very fast. It travels at the speed of love, but it's so gentle. It's instantaneous, but it doesn't feel like it's rushed at all. And just imagine all of these people who are holding all of these grudges and all of this anger for all of these people that are thinking differently from them. And let's just imagine them all just hugging each other, just this giant hug. Everyone's just saying, you know what, I'm sorry. You know, we both love pumpkin pie, and we both don't really like cherry pie that much, for example, whatever it is. And, you know, and I know that you're over there and I'm over here, and we're so different these days, but I still love you because you're me and I'm you, and we are all we, and we're all together. I know I'm just quoting the Beatles now, but let's just say that, yeah, we're all together, and we're just, just giving each other a hug and saying, you know what, I still love you. Even though we're completely different, even though I completely disagree with everything that you say and do, you're still me. We're still one. And that's beautiful that we can hold this separation together, but also understand that we're also one. And I'd like you to kind of imagine that we're saying to each other, thank you for being this contrast on this planet for me. Thank you for being that contrast. Thank you for showing me this. I know it's not easy to take that path that you've taken. Thank you. Thank you for being a polarity on this planet. Thank you for showing me a shadow. Thank you for showing me that I have shadows in me. Thank you for being a reflection. Yeah. Just see us all just coming together, and we're not trying to attack. It's not a war. We're just we're not trying to throw shade. We're just trying to love each other and see each other as brothers and sisters that we are. And maybe we're different, but it's all good. And we've just given each other all of these wonderful experiences. Maybe they felt painful at times, but we did it for each other. We did it to help each other. And we're all just having these amazing experiences. All right. So I'd like you guys to, I hope you guys are hopeful. And hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. And so let's just try to hold that space for that divide. If we're at that place where we can find peace in ourselves, then why don't we just hold that peace for them as well? So anyway, so that's the message for today. I hope you guys are hopeful, and hopefully I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks, Patty, TT, Tracy, and Michael, and Keone, and let's see, and everyone for joining in. Ciao for now.